Welcome to the special Autogefühl coverage from the Geneva Motor Show. This one here, one of the most important motor shows in the world. A lot of very exciting new car premieres, and we will tell you everything about the highlights you need to know about exterior, interior and the technologies that are waiting, and also deliver you some very interesting expert interviews. So you can either check out the single videos if you're interested in one particular car, then just check the Autogefühl channel. This episode here, all together, everything we got for the motor show. Just relax and put it in full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go! Not only new cars are to be found in the Geneva Motor Show, also very interesting, unique pieces. For example, a Ford Focus RSW RC designed for the 1999 Safari Rally for Colin McRae and his famous co-driver as well, Nicky Grist. And Colin McRae, one of my racing idols as I was growing up, also playing Colin McRae Rally, the racing game. And yeah, probably you know, very unfortunate that Colin McRae died in a helicopter accident. And well, at that time, you know, great cars, great rally racing, so much heritage also in this very car here. Or what about a Ford Escort RS Cosworth that was also used in rallies in the 1990s? Pretty spectacular, definitely. Right-hand drive here, by the way. Or what about here, this Cosworth rally version called Mexico. Here for Gunnar Palm and Hanno Mikkola originally. Look at the small side mirror here. And wow, I mean, definitely a very joyful design. Or the Ford Golf Mirage, driven by Jackie Ickx himself in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which he won in this very car in 1975. What a car! And wow, I mean, look at the front tires, for example, again. If you compare also the front tires to the rear tires, what difference there is. So very interesting aerodynamics, of course. And on this very rear wing, you could serve a lot of food, actually. It's perfect for a vegan buffet, don't you think so? And another Ford GT40. This is the base model of the car we've just seen, but looks as spectacular. Also look at the alloys, how they were fixed at that time. And this very car has a value today of £4 million. 8-cylinder engine, 4.7 liter manual ZF gearbox, 5-speed. And with the GT40, Ford was already racing Le Mans, for example, in 1964. And in 1966, they achieved a big victory here with the GT40 in Le Mans. And speaking of that 1966 win in Le Mans, this one here is the new Ford GT in the 66 Heritage Edition. It's a limited edition. And I mean, look at this massive car here. Wow, I mean, really a spectacular appearance. Also new one, and still keeping the heritage of the old models. Ta-da, here it is. One of the main highlights of this year's Geneva Motor Show is the all-new Volvo XC60, the compact SUV. See it here in the front also with the Thor's Hammer LED lights. Those ones are connected with higher trims or also optionally available. The length's 4.65 m or 15.3 and see here with a design line in the lower part, so strong curves there, and the shoulder area is a little bit more characteristic than with the XC90. It sits actually on the same platform, SPA platform, that is used for the new Volvos, for the big Volvos. So they share a lot with the XC90, but you can see it is actually different because I think that the new Volvo design does fit the smaller SUV even better. Because it looks more agile, especially in this rear shoulder part. And also I think those taillights in this function here, they fit better alongside with an SUV than with a sedan. That you have the horizontal line there, and then it goes up in the vertical one. I think it's really better with the SUV style. Also Thomas blue color, I would call it, so spectacular blue color with chrome contrast there in the side mirrors. So I think, very beautiful SUV. The XC60 was beautiful before, but had more round shapes. And here you can see a lot of different elements where they made it a little bit more angular to spice the design up a little bit. And I think it did work. Or what do you think? 22-inch for those rims, that is huge. It might be better for the riding comfort to go a little bit smaller. But I mean, the wheel arches are quite big, so they can actually fill that up. And here we get a closer look at the lower part of the grille, pretty strong in this R design line. And now a color change here in this metallic white, and also with the R design package, and works pretty well also in this color, although I would prefer the blue one. What do you think? By the way, this guy equipped them with 21-inch rims. Not that huge, but still looks huge. Here in the front left, you can plug it in if you have the T8 engine. So the plug-in hybrid version also available here for the XC60. Then let's get inside. You can see this is the R design also in the interior, and that means on the inside of the seats we have microfiber, on the outside leather. Unfortunately, they do not use leatherette yet on the outside here at Volvo, but the XC60 can, at least in the most markets, could also be in the previous generation be bought with fabric, also with full leatherette seats. We have to check the later configurators and price lists then. The interior is basically oriented also of the one of the XC90. This one is a little bit different here. We have a wider accentuation line. It can be picked in different materials, also with wood, for example. Overall, cleaned up. Of course, those black parts here, they collect a lot of fingerprints. That's, you know, the basic disadvantage. Other than that, the big touchscreen. In the middle part, you can also slide those beverage holders, close it. Here's all the build quality with the middle armrest. The steering wheel here in the R design has perforated sides right here, and also an R design logo. And it's not that small, and it's not very symmetric. A little bit of asymmetry, and also those shifting pedals right there. Here, option, you can also equip the car with the Bowers & Wilkins system, sound system, and we'll have also again this opera hall or orchestra hall sound atmosphere. So that is one of the best sound systems you can get. We have to test then later on how it will sound in the XC60. We will have the same good sound as in the XC90. It can always be a little bit different. The rear mirror, by the way, is frameless again. That's a very elegant solution. So it's really a small XC90. Headroom-wise, there's still some left. And one means 86 or 6'1", and there's already a panoramic roof built in here. If you leave that one out, maybe you can even get a little bit more headroom then. But overall, a comfortable seating position. The full digital instruments. You have basically the setup with RPM and speed. Car is not fully in operation at the moment, but you will be able to switch it a little bit around. It will be also the same in the XC90. When you open the door, this is very interesting. You see, this area will be kept tidy, and this is often the problem because you maybe make your trousers dirty here. So because you see the lip here, the door goes all the way until the bottom, and then is shutting the dirt off here. That's a pretty interesting solution. Of course, you have to be sure that when you're parking near a pavement, you don't damage the lower part of the door. That's really a big advantage, yet that you always stay tidy then, the car, and maybe also your shoes and your trousers when getting in and out. The rear, and this will be very interesting. How much is the difference? So I left the seat as I would be driving, and I mean, it's not a short compact SUV, but also the extraordinarily long one. And see here, this is the room I got in front of my knees. I think it's totally okay. Headroom-wise, a good result, although we have the panoramic roof inbuilt, and you do have a very upright seating position here already for the rear seats. What the hell? You could pay attention next time. Thank you. So, and there can also be a tax, even if you're doing motor show coverage. And that was actually one thing. I'm lucky that I had my hat right here, because I told that initially was the same problem in the other 90 versions with this electric folding down here from the head restraints. this really hits your head, and there's obviously no blocking mechanism that is blocked when someone is sitting on the seats. So what about the electric hatch? Here we go, also the T8 badge with the R design. And here we go now, and there's a wide opening really. Also with a small cover here that folds out. And the thing I was just attacked with, you see I've put one seat up here, and it's not on the left side, but on the right side, right here for R and left. And let's see, I check if someone is in there. No, it's not. Then you can press it and then it's folding down. It's a handy solution if no one is really sitting there. You have to pay attention to that. Here with the T8 there's not so much space left here. This is fixed, so that's pretty much it, but very well usable. And I mean, the XC90 is available as a 7-seater. That is, you know, the probably advantage for you. But if you don't really need that, I think you'll be just fine with the XC60. And I mean, it's not a cheap car, not at all. And but it will be cheaper than the XC90 for sure. And then let's watch with the UG safety share. I think again a little bit too much torque. A lot of manufacturers put too much torque on the rear electric hatch. I think that should be better evened out. For example, Mercedes had it quite well. That is always shutting, closing it, and still opening or holding still when you have some resistance. You have to play around with those torque figures. So you know, Volvo is all about 4-cylinders, diesel and petrol engines, and this one here, the T8, where you combine the petrol engine, the 4-cylinder, 2-liter with the electric parts, and you see everything is orange are always the electric parts. Of course, a lot of color choices available, but here already one look how it looks like in a dark gray tone. So here another car, by the way, another interior with this matte wood style, which feels really great and looks really great, Scandinavian design. And then there's also the infotainment system on, so you can go to your favorites here, for example. Go back in this menu. Phone pairing, we have Bluetooth. Wow, the screen gets extremely hot. That's so strange. So, and here you can, for example, also activate the cameras. The doors are opened at the moment inside, therefore we don't have a real view there, but hello guy. You're on Autogefühl, you don't know, but you're on. Busted. Interesting. And in the front, that's also possible. Here, guys, at the Geneva Motor Show, always taking photos right here. Good resolution, and the screen here is really good in the size. You can very well control all the stuff. But it's also a little bit much. You have to get used to it to find all the function, but that's the same in the XC90. And a general overview of this bright interior. I like the bright style that suits a Volvo also very well. But of course, here again the optional animal skin equipment, which is not really looking into the future, but rather into the past. The first look at the all-new Volkswagen Arteon, a new MQB-based model, 4-door coupe or fastback style, with a spectacular design. And here it is, here comes the front, with a new Volkswagen design here, for example, with a separate lip there. I'm not sure exactly what to think about this separate lip. We have to investigate that further, but overall a very aggressive and huge front grille, and you so far gave it very good ratings. Of course, also LED light with a new very wide signature, pretty spectacular style, base, elegance and R-level trim levels. This one's here 20-inch rims, the optional ones usually comes with 17, then 18 in the R-line or in the elegance trim level. This one is the elegance trim level, you can see it at the very side under the side mirrors. And the side mirrors you see are not attached in the triangle there, but they are placed at the side as with sporty cars. 15'9" or 4'86" is the total length of this vehicle. Already towards the upper mid-size segment, but still a mid-size based car with this coupe fastback ending. And when we open the trunk, we can also show you why it is actually rather a fastback, something in between a classic sedan and an estate. Also very horizontally drawn rear here, also with those taillights, big Arteon logo. And I think it's really a very beautiful piece by Volkswagen, lifting up the brand to a very emotional level. And we will also talk very soon with Jürgen Stackmann from Volkswagen, one of the main executives there, and get some more information, more background on that one. Also show different colors and of course also the interior. So let's get inside, and there are 3 trims available. As I said, base, which start with fabric seats, and then this one here is Elegance, and then there's also R-Line, and both Elegance and R-Line come with microfiber on the inside. Then they use animal skin on the outside. That's unnecessary. They could have just used leather red. In general, it's a Passat interior, of course. This is also the successor of the Volkswagen CC. And that also means we got all of the modern equipment from Passat, even with a more updated infotainment screen. And this will probably also be a chance for all the US customers who have just seen the facelift of the Passat B7. We will ask Jürgen Starkmann also very soon if this one here will also come to the US. Here you can see a very horizontal layout with the analog clock, then with aluminum style covers right there. So a very clean layout of the cockpit. View to the front, and the feeling here in the cockpit is pretty much the same than in the Volkswagen Passat B8 we already get in Europe. Here with the DSG we also have basically the same engines that the Passat is also offering, so 2-liter 4 cylinders, petrol, turbo petrol and turbo diesel engines up to 280 horsepower. Steering wheel is also a classic Volkswagen steering wheel as we know it. We can also move it all 4 directions, and overall pretty comfortable setup here with the manual seats, but they offer a lot of space on the seats, and so a cozy feeling, a lot of room here in this mid-size coupe only. This is even more spectacular from the outside. 1m86 or 6'1" my height. I still have a lot of room above my head, so size-wise this shouldn't be a problem for most people. The digital instruments that are also optionally available, 12.3 inch, also for the Volkswagen Arteon. You can see it right here. We don't have the RPM meter and stuff available at the moment because the cars on the motor shows not have all of the function, that no one can start the engine and stuff and just roll away off the stand. That would be too dangerous, therefore something are deactivated. A new top infotainment screen we have right here, and it's pretty much similar than in the new Volkswagen Golf, 9.2 inch. You can connect your phone via Bluetooth, so it's, I think, is it Czech the language is set to? I'm not quite sure. Then, no, Navigatio, is that Spanish? Could also be, I'm not really sure. No, I don't really know. Maybe someone of you knows. Here, and you can scroll inside the map, that works pretty good. So let's go to home again. You can check different individualizations in the menu. You can set your favorite stuff right there. Connected will be also some online services, which we probably do not have available here at the moment. And what else do we have here? You can also put picture in there, and also climate function, not available here, but then I would rather use the classic climate function below the screen. Here, beverage holders, also adaptive, 12-volt power supply, and then fixedly attached armrest with USB charging port. But there's another one in the very front as well, here in the right corner, and you can also put your phone right there for the antenna, and you can also close it here. This one also combined with the all-wheel drive 4Motion. Let's get in the rear now, and also in the rear freestanding windows, so no frames around the windows then. And well, the wheelbase is over 2.80 m, just slightly over 2.80 m, and wow, this is a lot of legroom, so you don't need any extended wheelbase versions. And if you, for example, compare that one to upper mid-size segment cars, this one will be, it's not exact pricing it, but this one will be way cheaper, I can tell you, and it has the same or maybe even more premium build quality. Also headroom-wise, although the roof is falling quite fast, still okay headroom-wise, and we can also flip the seats, 2/3, 1/3 split here, pretty easily done. And also the same Alcantara setup in the rear, Isofix covers on the outer sides of the seats, and also then beverage holders here with the armrest and a ski hatch, so you are pretty flexible. It might be a solution if variant estate is maybe, you know, too boring for you, but you still want to be more versatile than the sedan and have the beautiful exterior. Speaking of, here we can flip the logo, and then we have this fastback opening, so very wide opening, and Well, this could really be a cheap alternative to an Audi A7, for example. So very handy, very practical, and as I said, you can flip the seats, but you have to do that from the rear. You cannot do it from here. That's better in the estate, of course, but way handier than, for example, with the sedan. And well, a lot of room for a car that has such an emotional appeal. Here you can also flip out the towing equipment. There we go. Different than with a 5 Series Touring, and we can also put it back in. I think it's a better solution than with a fully electric we have seen in the 5 Series Touring. It was a little bit slow overall. So, a lot of space we have here. Also below that we can fit a replacement tire or also the DIN Audio sound system. And here we can see two more colors. First of all is Kurkuma Yellow. We also know it from the recent Golf facelift. It's also coming now to the Volkswagen Arteon. Really screaming out color. Very spectacular for sure. But I mean, also the chili red color, that was also very attractive already. And then there's also the more classic choice, a pure white color. Surely elegant when it's still clean. And there especially the lights, especially the taillights, form a very big contrast. I always enjoy interviews with Jürgen Stackmann, head of marketing and sales at Volkswagen, because he's very open to new developments. And I mean, that's what the Volkswagen brand has to do right now. And one of them is the new Volkswagen Arteon. So, considering the logo of Think New, what is Think New about the Arteon?
Well, I think basically it reveals itself when you just look at the car. It's a hard-storming vehicle. It has a GT shape, which people don't expect from the Volkswagen brand. Very, very emotional design, very muscular. The car looks like an athlete in full swing before the Olympics. But actually the inside offers everything that people love about Volkswagen. Superior quality, fit and finish is outstanding. The car has latest level of assistance systems to make the car really, really safe. It's simply a joy to drive. You have to drive it. But the reality is, if you're here at the motor show one day, you just know what actually sells this car. It's the looks. It's an outstanding car to look at.
So yesterday night we uploaded the first preview, and I can already tell you that the customers really love the car. Good. So very good feedback so far. Why do you think it's important to put an emotional product now to the market? Because you would think, okay, we have to concentrate on something logical and keep it rather low profile. So why is it important now to put something like that on the market?
I don't think that's the case. Volkswagen is a brand that actually has tremendous substance in technology and in the way we do business and the way actually we put our cars together. But Volkswagen has the capability to launch really, really exciting new cars. And you see during the year 2017, there's a lot more to come. It's not only the Arteon. We have T-Roc coming at the back end of the year, which is all about emotions in a very different concept. The time is ready for actually a new Volkswagen to bring emotions to the brand. To recreate the love affair in a very, very strong way. And this segment in this car just lends to do an extraordinary sort of athletic shape. This is a premium car competing with premium cars. So key competitors of this car is Audi, BMW, Mercedes. And we want to actually compete face to face.
At the same premium price?
No, not at all. Obviously, we are more accessible in price and have a better price-value relationship than our competitors. But it's important for Volkswagen. Our position in the market is top of volume. We are the most desirable Volkswagen volume brand in the marketplace, and we have to have cars that compete face-to-face to premium cars. Arteon is one. Golf essentially is competing in the premium class against Mercedes, again the same competitors. Tiguan already is now reaching into premium car sphere. And at the back end of the year, you'll see the first time the new Touareg, which clearly is sort of a premium car as well. It's important for Volkswagen to show its capabilities, to show strong emotions, and to be able to compete face-to-face with the strongest brands in the world.
Especially our US viewers, they were asking, do we get something of a B8 Passat finally now for the US markets? Maybe you can reveal something about where is the Arteon relocated in which markets?
Well, basically the core region for Arteon is Europe. It's a European concept for this made actually for the European market. But the good news is it's coming to the US as well. So the news here is actually this is a fantastic shape which we believe will move in all continents. In some regions, especially this type of vehicle is just a super niche, so it's not worth of doing that. But you're going to see the car in Japan, you're going to see the car in Asia as well. We're going to localize the car in China. So it has yes, it will travel a lot of continents and the US as well.
Talking about sustainability, also with a very emotional car, so there are two big topics at the moment. First of all, using sustainable materials and also possible electrification. What do you have in mind considering this topic?
Not every car needs to have a fully full swing of sustainable kits. We have most and the latest development of our TSI and TDI engines, all Euro 6 into the car, ranging from 110 kilowatts to 206. So 280 horsepower, 4-cylinder petrol, very sporty drive. So this car itself is not an electric car. It was never meant to be one. So it will not be an electric propulsion here. Our solution is slightly different. We have just launched our new Golf. And in 2 months we launched a new e-Golf with an electric range of 300 kilometer NAFZ. In real terms, it's 200 kilometers expected range for our drivers, which basically covers what normal drivers do during the week. The Golf will stay our key pillar of electromobility until 2020, before the birth of the ID family starts. You've mentioned the ID Buzz already. It's a great idea to do something fully electric. It will never have a combustion engine, fully connected with a brilliant design. So strong investment by the brand, but not every car needs to have everything. The important piece is that actually we leave emotions to emotions, and we create emotions for sustainable electric mobility as well.
So as a last question, because we always talk about also the seat surfaces, I know the base model comes with fabric seats and the top trims are connected with leather then. Are there maybe talks with the managers also to offer some seat alternatives in the higher trim levels as well in the future, like a high-class leather red we've seen for example, in Tesla, or for example, Mercedes is using?
Yes, it's not yet in the Arteon. This actually comes with leather seats, so I'm afraid for our vegan customers. But obviously, we are now developing fast vegan alternatives for the luxury seats in the upper trim levels to make sure that we become a sustainable brand in this sense as well.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And we'll meet again at the next motor show, I hope, and then
Sure.
We'll catch up with the very latest developments. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Thomas. Dankeschön. Thanks a lot.
A short first look at the Porsche Panamera Sport Turismo, the new Porsche estate, the first Porsche estate there is, or Kombi, we can also say. Some want to have it as shooting brake. Well, they call it now Sport Turismo. And the most feedback we got from our previews, you guys said here at Autogefühl that it really works from the design. We'll take a closer look here at the exterior and also at the interior, especially of course at the rear seats, because extensive reviews, Panamera hybrid with me, also with Holger, a racetrack feature, and so we can also check that out in Autogefühl already driving wise. So here a focus now on this special variant. Well, the front is pretty much the same as the normal Panamera, and here also the estate version. This one here is the turbo, so it will be available with the same engines, 2.9 liter V6, either pure petrol or the hybrid, or with a V8, then 4 liter V8 petrol or diesel. This one here, the turbo with the most horsepower, also with big air intakes. 5 meters 05 or 16 foot 6. The length remains totally the same for the Sport Turismo. The difference is really just in the rear, because in the front, optional big 21-in rims, and also the roof line here is pretty much all the same, and the strong shoulders, and then it really gets in the difference, whereas the normal Panamera just falls down with the roof. Here, even just a little bit, but then this wing here has this attachment, and here the very top part then can also raise up in 3 different levels to create more downforce than at the rear part at higher speeds. That goes automatically. 21-inch here again in the Spider. Wow, they are really huge. I mean, look at those. And this is really my style here, the Spider style. It's, a little bit 90s, yes, it is, but that's, my time, so I also like it. And you see that the taillights already begin here at the side profile. And you can activate the spoiler also in the infotainment system, and of course it also is adaptable considering the actual speed you actually have. So, and you can see how that works. It's a spectacular function. We haven't seen it in an estate yet. Of course, the car looks better when it's just close, when it's just even. And the rear, of course, a totally different view. It does not look like a Panamera. It's more like I would say a Porsche Macan that is not high but low, somehow like that. So what do you think about the new Porsche Estate? I think it does work. Why not making, a sports car, a big sports car, even more versatile? So because with Panamera you have already a lot of length, but you cannot use it that in a versatile way. Also maybe for a family. And here you can actually. Maybe because Porsche are mainly selling SUVs these days. Maybe this one here will make some more customers say, oh, maybe I'm going back from a Cayenne back to a Panamera, for example, if this is more versatile than here now. We can also open the hatch. This one will be crucial. So there we go. And it's more a fastback style, not a real, angular Estate. But you see way more space then and easier accessible than in the normal Panamera. And let's see if we do not crush anyone in the interior. Attention, I'll flip the seat here. The right one. Here we go. Where is it? There it is. And there we go. And then you can make your Porsche Panamera more flexible. Here we are. And you can also just use the very middle function here as the ski hatch. It's a little bit tricky how that works here at the moment. Not exactly sure. But we can also flip the seats in the same way on the left side. There we go. And then we have the fully flexible solution. It's a long loading space, and you can already see right now here, maybe you can also go shopping then now with your Panamera Estate. Interior in the front is a glossy wood cover. I mean, basically like the stuff, but I would rather prefer a matte wood. Here the brown interior is, of course, well, you do have to get used to it, especially in combination to the exterior color. I'm waiting for the GTS version that will also bring Alcantara seats for the Porsche Panamera. GTS version, I hope to have that one still this year. Here now, however, again, a clean setup here with a horizontal layout with the new infotainment screen. We showed you the infotainment screen in detail in our other setups. The Sport Turismo in the front, not really much different. Here now those 5 circle gauges. 4 of them are digital, 1 is analog. And the steering wheel, very sporty, again with real metal shifting pedals and sport lever adjustment. In the middle part you have beverage holders. You can also put them up to have an even surface right here, and also the armrest here with the USB port supply. And the seats are very comfortable from the seat form, that's for sure here in the front. I have set a seat as I would be driving right now here, and more interesting part is really how is the rear changed. I mean, there are also those long wheelbase versions available, but of course the headroom will be different with a Sport Turismo. And what about the rear? So the long wheelbase version of course offers more legroom, but already the normal one you see there's plenty of space for 1.86 m or 6'1" as I am. And then in the rear, well, there's a panoramic roof. You do lose headroom towards the side. I'm hitting the pillar with my head, but then it continues to the rear. So you do have a small benefit then with a Sport Turismo for sure, but the biggest difference is surely the luggage compartment. The BMW 5 Series in the new generation now as the touring version, so the Estate or Kombi as we say in Germany. That one is here on the Autogefühl special coverage Geneva Motor Show with Thomas. And we're going to take a look at the exterior, interior, of course. How versatile is it really in the rear? That's the most important one here. here in, we can say, Thomas blue. It's called officially Mediterranean blue. A very beautiful color, and I would directly pick it in this very color, that's for sure. And we're gonna already start with some deals in the front, because you can see it. This is the M Sports package. I would also recommend, also for the interior. I'll tell you later why. Strong lower part here. Also the adaptive cruise control sensors are hidden very neatly, so you do not have to touch the logo right there. And so looking here at the BMW double kidney in the 5th generation here, even wider, even more massive, also alongside aligned then with those new headlights. They come standard with LED, and then with this BMW adaptive LED in the top trim, that is an optional to also have the select high beam, which is supposed to draw 500 meters of light on the road. Pretty spectacular for sure. And also the hood, you see, goes all the way to the front. Also nice in design was not to have this very split there. And optionally, you can also equip this 5 Series with a front camera. It's right there. And another interesting detail, at the moment the vents are shut and show more vertical fins, but if the engine needs more air, they open, and then those middle fins, they disappear and leave more air inside. But if it's not needed, it's closed to reduce the wind resistance. 4 meters 94 or 16 foot 2 is the total length of the BMW 5 Series in this new generation. Sedan and Touring is the same. This one here with the M Sports package. We also have the M logo there. Optional 20-inch rims, pretty spectacular, a little bit protected by the tire lip. Then there's this optimization of the wind flow to reduce the wind turbulence in the wheel arch. Goes in there, you can really feel it, and the air then comes out right there. Mediterranean blue, as I said, and the design line is right here. You can see the light on the top, and then there goes the shadow on the door handles with chrome frames, beautiful contrast, black roof rails. And it's a rather conservative layout for, general touring, but it's also a rather conservative market. And I think they haven't done anything wrong there, but it's also nothing really spectacular. I think a solid design really for a touring variant. 18-inch would be, for example, if you go for a sport or luxury line, then with the rims, 19 with the M Sport, and then again, as I said, 20 you can go for the very option. And well, the M Sport package is very attractive from the outside and also from the interior. We'll soon tell you why. A sculptural design here for the rear part. This is the 530D. It will not come to the US market. It's more a European thing, and especially a German thing. 50% of the touring go to Germany. It's really very popular there in the touring version, the 5 Series. And so diesel will also play a major role in contrast to the sedan. The sedan, full review by the way, already available at Autogefühl. Check that one out, was very interesting. See here also rather conservative layout at the rear, but again, I think very solid from the design, not, damaging any customer base, for example. And then the secret here is, of course, that you have this split hatch. You can already open just this one here, and it's very handy then when you want to put something in there just very briefly. So this has been, the case for a very long time with the 5 Series. Here they kept this option, and then you can also wait for the electric cover. It's also very interesting, we have got the electric hatch from the standard equipment, and then you see also the cover flips out automatically, and that's a clean solution here also with the roof rails. And then you can, for example, also flip up here the towing equipment, for example. Not sure if the electric will work here now. Let's see, there it is. We already know such solutions from other brands as well. And then if you go for this one here, well, there it is. Goes all. Oh, wow. So with other solutions, with other brands, that is interesting. Now it's there fully. It's that you release it and then have to pull it straight. Here it's really fully electrically. Very interesting. And we also can flip the seats right here and here. It's also a very handy solution. And then, wow. Maximum capacity is 1,700 liters. And, well, this is really comparable in this segment. You see you have a square room, some more space beneath that one, for example. And again, very handy solutions. You can also see 3 top tethers at the back side of the seats. And lovely bright interior as a contrast to the blue exterior. And I would say we let the towing equipment fold in again, and it really takes some time, but a very neat process for sure. So this was the 530D, 265 horsepower, 3-liter 6-cylinder, also with xDrive of course available, and there's also the 2-liter diesel 520D with 190 horsepower, and petrol engines will be same with the sedan, 2-liter 530i with 250 horsepower and 3-liter 540i with 340 horsepower. So let's get inside. Here we go. And what is special here is that open cell wood is being used, very matte. You can also hear it. Very beautiful. I like the style and I also like the feeling. The bright interior color is also something very special. I like the combination, especially the blue, my dream combination. But as for seat surfaces, the luxury line always comes with animal skin seats, as we also see it here. But this one is the M Sport package, and it's the optional animal skin. Just if you pick the normal M Sport package, you will have a mix of fabric and Alcantara, and that's the perfect seat setup, very sporty and very sustainable. So either go with the base version, so in Germany and Europe you get fabric seats, or if you want a higher trim level, also sporty features, for example like the M Sport steering wheel, then you should go for the M Sports package to get those fabric Alcantara seats that keep you warm in winter and cool temperature in summer times. The best pick you can go for. And they're also available, as far as I know, in the bright trim. I think so. Then the M Sport steering wheel. You see, it's a little bit bigger on the upper part to have those, those gaps for the sumps here. Also with the heated steering wheel function. I think the button looks a little bit clumsy on the steering wheel, but I love the heated steering wheel function. That is great. You can also electronically adjust the steering wheel like this, and you see the gauges. It's pretty interesting what they've done there. So they have the real 3D aluminum rings here, but then analog on the inside, and that creates a transition, something in between the full digital and analog world. I think it's an interesting idea for sure. BMW has been a little bit lagging behind as for the interior build quality in the past years, if you think about especially Audi and also Mercedes a little bit. But here with the 5 Series, the new generation, they have stepped up the game. So also if you look at some buttons in the middle console and so, and also when you have the quality here from the folding mechanisms and the open cell wood and so, they have stepped up that game. So also it feels good to turn those knobs. I would still say Audi is better from the interior build quality, but then BMW has some other features as well, of course, as for the riding dynamics. And of course, everything is a little bit different. This is the GPS and navigation infotainment unit here. Navigation is sometimes a little bit complicated because you have to go in like a lot of different menus. The visualization, I think, is very good and also reacts fast enough. So also with this horizontal view, that looks great. But as I said, to find something, you can connect your phone, for example, via Bluetooth, but also with Apple CarPlay. Also wireless Apple CarPlay is possible, but it didn't work that well out in our testing. I think it's a little bit overdone from the software. Then this climate area is an interesting solution, also with the visualization here for the climate, all digital. You can also touch that one. And by the way, this is also the difference now. They have said now we go also with a touchscreen, then also a co-driver, for example, can use this. As we know, always from BMW ZF automatic gearboxes, one of the best gearboxes there are. They work pretty great. Just the riding was superb in the 5 Series sedan. We also expect that here for the Touring. But the big difference is the Touring has rear suspension, air suspension. Than from standard equipment. This one will be different. For the 5 Series sedan, sporty ride, no air suspension available. Here now, there's one for the rear axle standard equipment to keep the same level no matter of how much the loading space is and how much weight you have in the rear, in the trunk. So this is another approach, and it will be very interesting when we ride this very car soon in May, with a full driving review of this one here. However, you can also optionally get, for example, M Sport suspension as here in the M package. Then you can have a little stiffer ride. as well. And one quick look at the rear. So I'm 1.86 or 6'1", and still got some room above my head. This is the panoramic roof. If you want more headroom, leave out the panoramic roof. And here, leg space is legroom is comparable with the Mercedes E-Class, for example, so pretty standard, and you'll get along with that. Here also rear seat infotainment is available. You have the same display, then optional feature, of course, than in the very front here, for example. I'm not sure if it's like still on or if there's some control. I cannot find the controls here at the moment. There's also other guys are waiting, but this at least already a visual perspective. It's mirroring the stuff we have in the front end. So, yeah, I think reasonable space here again. This touring version will surely sell very well again, as it continuing the stuff has already been on the market and now refined from the interior, and soon also the full driving review on Autogefühl. A first look at the Peugeot 5008 here on Autogefühl, special coverage Geneva Motor Show. And we will also compare this one here to the little smaller brother, the 3008, to see what is, the real difference and for whom may it be the 3008 better and for whom maybe the 5008. And we will start right here with the 5008 because this one is the new car presented here. The 3008 very soon Autogefühl on the full driving review. Then here you see the front grille has this special, small horizontal fin structure. It's a new design element here, front view camera and a very strong lower part here in the highest trim level. So very sporty, and this is also the scheme of this new car. So far the 5008 was a van, and now it's moving over to SUV. 5008 and 3008 do share some design lines. For example, this one here above the wheel arches. First of all, the crossover look, and then you see this stance here that accentuates the wheel arch below that. This is the same also with the 3008, and the bonnet, it's really upright. Reminds me a little bit Range Rover style, doesn't it? 18-inch rims here. Usually starts with smaller ones. Those ones are optional available. Then contrasting mirror caps. A very strong part right here. See, it leaps a little out, definitely. No strong design line at the rear. You see probably saving also some space on the interior. And then this is the real difference to the 3008. This one here, a little bit longer. And that makes also this very long appearance here with the low frame. The frame, by the way, is from rubber. That's a little bit strange. I would expect it to, that they put it in chrome. But you have the roof rails, and then you see from this setup that you won't lose too much space on the interior because this is more built for form follows function. And the rear, well, here you still see those van genes because we have a very steep rear window, but that will also leave us a lot of room on the interior. Here, those tiger claw taillights, I think very well done. In general, the 3008 looks sportier, more agile in the rear, but then again, this one is also set up to have more luggage. And from the outside, you can already see the cover here of the boot entry. And then let's open that stuff. Electric hatch available. So here we go. Wow, there's a huge hatch. And here we can also see how much room there is left. Sorry, it's a little bit dark here, but that's the setup here on the Motor Show. Just a little room left if you fold up the last seat row, the third seating row. But it's also possible to fold them down. And here we go. You have to fold up this one here. And, this one, by the way, is a cover directly also for the boot that you do not damage anything when loading things out. Pretty interesting solution. But then here you have to flip the switch. Whoa, that goes fast. To be careful not to squish your fingers. And then you see this is the boot we have then when the seats are folded flat. And then you can, to cover it again, also fold it right there. I'm not sure if this solution here is the most handy one. So there we go. So a little strange, the solution. And then there's also another gap right there to the next seat. So let's say it works, but I have seen better solution to hide the third seating row and to release it again. And the other way around again. So while hiding those seats is a little bit complicated, it's easier here. One hand. Here as well. That's, folding them up. That is a pretty easy solution. You probably thought it this way around. What about child safety here with the rear hatch? Let's see if that runs right. Whoa, that's too much talk. So, whoa, that went strongly. I would maybe decrease the torque there a little bit for safety reasons. Let's get inside. Door closing test first. Why not? Sounds quite solid. Then, what is interesting here, some harder plastics, but it looks pretty good from the design. And here, this dark cloth or grey cloth, pretty interesting material, and I think this is going in the very right direction. So very beautiful and good to feel, very natural. Some storage space at the inside of the doors, right there. Then, if we move on to the interior, is a pretty different layout than all other SUVs. First of all, the small steering wheel we already know from a 308, for example. Also, then those gauges, they are now fully digitally available, and they are pretty far away from the steering wheel. But the thing is, they want to put them high up above, that you don't have to have a head-up display, for example. Then the seats, also this interesting grey cloth is being used. I think it creates a good living room atmosphere. On the outside, I don't have the information at the moment from I haven't seen the price list, if it's leatherette or animal skin, but I think it should be real. I'm not exactly sure. We have to recheck that with the price list. But it's great that they use this cloth mainly, so definitely going in the right direction, also here in the higher trim level. Seating position, you sit relatively upright, have a lot of room right here, and it's a really modern atmosphere. Almost a futuristic atmosphere due to the small, it's basically a racing steering wheel, and those gauges, well, you always have to see, what is blocking what. So when I have to sit, I have to have the steering wheel in the highest position. So that's the highest position possible. You can go lower and also put it in and out again, but not really higher, because also that would totally block the view. And also for me, for example, the lower part is being blocked by the steering wheel, but I can see, for example, the main speed. Then in the middle part, this reminds me a little bit of a Mazda put-in infotainment system now. A bigger one is now available, and also with a touch screen. You see here, you can also zoom in and out. It could be a little bit faster for sure. Then there's the basic menu from design. Also reminds us a little bit of other infotainment systems from Peugeot Citroën they've been using before. So just to click a little bit around, here's the menu again. For example, here options. It could be a little bit faster, I guess. Very interesting design element is this cockpit atmosphere we already know from the 3008, and those are the hotkeys for the infotainment system, or also if you want to go for the temperature. And you have to click this one here and then control the vents in the infotainment system. So there are no separate controls for the vents, only for seat heating. That is done separately here. But I think a great design, also this sculptural furniture design here with the cloth again. So that's something very different, and I really say I love that design. Something different, unique, and just likable. Then there's also an off-road gear selector, for example, here for snow, ice, also for sand driving. This optimizes the all-wheel drive system. Here at the moment there's a 6-speed manual, which is, well, it could be a little bit smoother to shift. I'm hitting the clutch at the moment, of course. Then there's also sport mode that you can turn up the RPMs a little bit, but will more play a role in the automatic version. Adaptive beverage holders. Here they have taken over the Mercedes system to open the middle part of the armrest. Not sure where this one is supposed to stay. Here you can put the one here, for example, or maybe in the rear. And wow, this goes quite deep in there, and also is with some light. It's also good for the camera. And if they use this system, this is good because there can be no shaky armrest. So this one makes a good quality impression indeed now. As impressive the interior is, as limited is the view. I mean, we're standing a little bit upside now, but you can see the hood is very high, obviously also for design reasons, and that blocks a little bit the view if you want to park in and out, for example. And let's get in the rear, and I've left the driver's seat as I would be driving, and wow, I mean, that's the real secret of the 5008. You see to the lower part here of the front seat, I have a lot of leg room left. Of course, for more comfort, I can put up the head restraint, also the same nice layout with the grey fabric in the rear. Just of course because the rear bench is quite high actually, and if you then have this table here, I'm not sure what's the sense of that. Maybe for children it's good, because it reaches further to them, but maybe not that well thought through for adults. However, thought through is more that you can change the seating layout here in the lengths. So now when I'm sitting here, it's good. You can really vary to have more trunk or to have more legroom here. That is very well done. Headroom wise, yeah, I'm already touching my head, and one is 86 or 6'1". And if you leave out the panoramic roof, then you would have a little bit more headroom. But it's probably because you sit that high here in the rear. So this is truly a kids car, not necessarily for adult travel in the rear, but really for kids, because also that's quite seldom that you have 3 Isofix anchors here. 6 overall, I mean 2, 2, 2. So for 3 child seats, so also in the middle, and there are also then the top tethers here on each of the rear of the seats. You can also feel them. So truly a family vehicle, and also with a stepped-up built interior quality. So overall, quite promising if you want to have something, not so much van style anymore, more in the crossover style, more elegant also with a stepped-up interior. And then carry a lot of children with you guys. Just on the very last seats, those are just emergency seats because there are also, for example, no Isofix anchors. Only if you want to maybe install a child seat, then normal over the seat belts, but I'm not sure, that might get a little bit tricky in the 3rd seating row. By the way, to fold flat the 2nd seating row, that works like this. Also the lower part goes a little bit down. So it's a pretty interesting solution. Here also you can see the top tether, which are not available on the 3rd row. And the 3rd row can be accessed right there. This might get loose over time. So here we go, and well, for adults it doesn't make any sense, and for children then again the question is, how can you install child seats without a top tether and without Isofix? Give me your feedback there. How do you do it? And now let's compare the 3008, the smaller brother. You can see it, that's quite obvious. Also has a pretty interesting front grille with a grid structure and those horizontal fins here as well, and the hood you can see as a special part here in the front that reduces the insurance cost, because you then don't have to replace the very front hood. And overall, of course, a more SUV appearance from the outside because it's not that long. The 5008 more a van crossover mix, for example. This one here still looks more off-road stylish, but of course even more than any other models from Peugeot before. Side profile with also 18-inch rims, and again you can see the resemblance here with the carved structure above the wheel arches. Then also this 3D look in the lower part, but no real design line here on the side. And that looks a little bit angular with a lot of the other competitors. And then here the side profile is raising a little bit. Also this rubber part here on the frame is being used. That's one of the parts here I don't like so much. Everything else is really likable. Than the roof rails, and you see this graphic here. This is a little bit joyful. I mean, it's not a really clean design. It's more, to attract some sculptural attention. I would call it. Not that strong shoulders, just a little bit here. And then also the window line is falling flatter down than the one of the 5008. Now the 3008, more dynamic rear, but same tiger claws here, little flatter window line. We can also open the electric hatch. Here we go. So, and here no third seating row, but then reasonable space on the interior. It's a little bit dark right in there, but maybe I can put you some light here, some more light. It's not really useful. So below that one here we have a replacement tire that is available, and you can already flip the seats from here and they fold flat if the head restraints would be down. And I can easily do that, that's no problem. So they have to pay attention to that the head restraints are down. So here we go now. There's also one top tether here at the left side and also another one at the right side. Let's get inside here with the 3008. Some music playing. Let's make it silent. So also have electric seats control here. You can also lengthen the seating area. So both possible, and it's again a very futuristic interior and it's pretty similar to the one of the 5008. And we can put a steering wheel also higher. Again, this very futuristic cockpit layout, I really liked it. The hood is a little bit lower, so you have a better overview to the front. That's positive about the 3008 for sure. Headroom-wise, well, there's a panoramic roof inbuilt, but still, at least even for 190 or 6'2", you have no problems as for the headroom. It's a little bit more spacious than in the 5008. It's also a bigger car, but they are actually really similar as for the interior. So you don't have to get used to something else. Also with the middle console, with the flipping mechanism here. And I think the build quality has really been stepped up also here again with the cloth. And this is the glove box we can see here. It's pretty voluminous. Not too wide, but goes pretty deep in there, and also, well, a lot of room in there. So overall, this is really a surprise, this interior. Again, I mean, first time we presented it in the Paris Motor Show, soon we'll drive it, and we also can take how it behaves like with the instruments and the steering wheel. But I like that this one here is a very unique approach of building an interior cockpit. Here we go with the rear compartment. What's the difference? So first of all, you sit lower than in the 5008, so it's more set up for for adults. And knee room wise, it does exactly fit for me, but nothing more. So we do have some compact SUVs that score a little bit better in this case. Headroom wise, it still works for me. Again, if you want to save some more headroom, then you should also leave out the panoramic roof we have inbuilt here. Then in the middle part you can fold down some beverage holders. You can also use it here as a ski hedge, and my arm is gone. So that's also possible. And Isofix at the lower parts, so at the outer seats each. So you also have the possibility to put it in 2 child seats easy here in the rear. Yeah, I mean, I think the knee room could be a little bit better, but I think the reason is also, you see the seats. They are pretty voluminous, so that's the reason. That's not so much room left here in the rear. And overall, I think still a very attractive interior, very interesting. Again, the approach they're taking. And if you compare them to the 5008, of course you have more legroom. But then again, if you take the table, then so really the one is the child's car, and this one here, surely the one you can also have children with. Sure. No, not with the car. You know what I was meaning. You. But then again, this one also suitable, just for even for a young couple or even for older couple. I think this car is pretty universal. And with the product manager of the 5008 and the 3008, Vincent Arid, we will sum up our today's comparison of those two cars. So from your perspective, I mean, you obviously had something in mind. So why do you have those two cars, and why did you move them more in this crossover SUV direction?
Yeah, we have two cars in the C SUV segment, but we have two complementary offers. The 3008 is very compact for families with, let's say, 1 children, and the 5008 is very much longer for bigger families, let's say, with 2 children or 2 youngsters.
What about the technology? I mean, they have a lot of similarities. Do they sit on the same platform, and also what's the price difference?
Yeah, this is the same platform, the new platform EMP2. The 5008 is approximately 20 centimeters longer than the 3008, especially on the wheelbase, around 17 centimeters. and the different price, the price difference between the two cars is around 2,000 euros, including the 7-seater, the third row.
That's included then already.
Yeah.
Is it a standard equipment, the 7-seater and the 5008?
It depends on the country. In Germany, it's an option, but in France, where it is a standard equipment, the price difference between the two body types is 2,000 euros.
So the price difference is very little, I really have to say. We did see there's a new fabric used on the seats that looks very classy and living room alike.
Yeah.
And there was also some leather insets. Is it animal skin or is it leatherette you're using there as a contrast?
No, it's leatherette. We have half fabric, half leatherette for this trim on Allure, and it is also the case on GT Line.
So that's a very sustainable solution then. I'm very pleased by that because we always pay attention to that, of course. So you basically can get this option. I know it's available for some premium cars. Is it also possible at Peugeot to get a leather-free steering wheel as an option, like asking the dealer, can you do that? Is that possible?
No, in these two cars we have a leather steering wheel from the first level access, and we have full grain leather up to the second level active.
So maybe that with the steering wheel could be something for the future to offer the customers. I think Mercedes already offers it, but they also have more margin. But maybe you can do that in the future, for example. But I mean, that's with the seats is starting. Do you also have the feeling that customers more and more demand sustainable solutions?
Yes, but it is compatible with natural raw materials such as the wood we have inside the GT version, for example.
And maybe your very favorite piece about the two cars. What's your favorite piece? As a product manager, you know the car in detail. Actually, what's your favorite piece?
I think the masterpiece is the new Peugeot iCockpit, the dashboard. It's very brand new. It's very modern, attractive, and it enhances the driving sensation in board the two cars.
Does it always come with a digital layout, or does it start with an analog gauges?
No, it's always digital from the first level access, and it is very new in the segment, and we are the only one to propose this kind of cluster as a standard equipment.
Very interesting, and maybe as a last engine information, which one will be the most important engines here for the car?
We think it will be the 2.0-liter Blue HDI, 150 horsepower, but also the 1.6 Blue HDI, 120 horsepower with the E86.
What about petrol engines? Some choice?
Yeah, we have 3 petrol engines, such as the 3008, 2 in PureTech, 1.2 liters, 130 horsepower in mechanic and automatic transmission, and 1 THP of 165 horsepower with the automatic gearbox E86.
And looking into the future, for a compact SUV, a lot of guys are working on it at the moment. Just Mitsubishi with the Outlander offers a plug-in hybrid you can actually pay. Others like way too expensive. Is it also possible for Peugeot that you think about equipping such cars with also electrification?
Yeah. The 3008 is part of the project, the PHEV project, plug-in hybrid, which will come lately in 2019. Excuse me. So yes, we will have an electrification on board this car.
Very interesting. We're looking forward to that, and soon also check out our full driving review of the 3008, and then also later, of course, then at the later stage, followed by the 5008. Thank you so much for this insight.
Thanks a lot.
A special premiere here for Mercedes with the Mercedes AMG GT concept. Very interesting because it is a coupe but with 4 doors. So this one here is also an attack on the Porsche Panamera hybrid, because this one here also features a hybrid engine. But we start here with the front. This is the so-called Panamericana front grille. It's inspired by the 1952 300 SL race car, which at that time won the famous Panamericana race. Very dramatic here with a carbon fiber lower lip, AMG logo. And this color here is called Hot Red. and it's supposed to shine or shimmer like molten metal. Hot red, okay. If it's molten metal, that always reminds me of the Terminator T-1000. I'm not really sure, but the question is, do you like it? It's very spectacular, also with those high beam taillights and with a special LED setup that is more organic looking. Very interesting, for sure. So the front already very spectacular, also with the power dome right there. And under this hood, we cannot open it here today, there will be a V8 hybrid with up to 815 horsepower. The electric engine will support the rear wheels. Other than that, it will be all-wheel drive general to get all of this power to the ground, inspired by Formula One hybrid technology. Side profile, massive 22-inch rims, but this is only for the concept. It will surely come with smaller, and also those that don't really come out of the wheel arches. Also, you see here, those ones are not real side mirrors. Those ones are cameras to improve the aerodynamics. And also says EQ Power logo plus here, EQ Power Plus, and the EQ Power Plus will be featuring, this new brand name will be featured in all new hybrid sports cars of Mercedes. The side profile line, really coupe, pure coupe line, and of course you can always argue, is a coupe just a two-door? Is there a four-door coupe? But I mean, let's just call it four-door. Okay, I think it's okay. Massive carbon fiber side bumper, and then very strong shoulders are formed right here. You see also the door handles are aligned with the car. They flip out when you touch them, and I guess, well, the interior is hidden behind those black glasses. When I see, well, you cannot see, I can just see a little bit. It looks a little bit like a normal Mercedes-AMG GT interior. The GT Roadster convertible full review will soon be on Autogefühl. Check that full review out. Here, by the way, to reduce some weight, also a carbon fiber top, and then a very spectacular strong shoulder at the rear with a very sharp coupe ending right here. And I'm looking forward how this electric power is transported on the rear axle, inspired by this Formula One technology. And this is a nice light play right here now, very sharp lines, also here again light and shadow contrasts, and super slim rear lights. And the thing is, well, you know, the side mirrors or the big rims, they are maybe not that realistic, but it is realistic that this car will make it to the market in general. It's supposed to come already quite soon. Interesting exhaust, looks a little bit Transformers-alike with the central exhaust right here. I'm not sure if that will come in this exact form, but the overall vehicle concept as a four-door coupe, probably also with a hybrid part, that one is actually ready to come very soon for Mercedes. And then, again, as I said, I take in the Porsche Panamera hybrid, for example, in the first instance, or sure, probably will also come with normal petrol engines. So I want to know your opinion, what you think about this vehicle concept in general, how you think it would perform against the Panamera. If you haven't checked out the Seat Leon Cupra full driving review recently with the facelift, now with 300 horsepower, then you surely have to check it out. We focus on the estate version with all-wheel drive there. Here in our coverage from the Geneva Motor Show on Autogefühl with Thomas, we're going to take a deeper look on the 5-door version and also two different colors, very special colors. Here, this one is called Eclipse Orange, a new special color, surely one that is screaming out to personalize your Leon pretty much. And we're starting here at the exterior with this one here, and you can see the new LED tail lamps, also with a new black frame here around the grille. Very spectacular dynamic design, and the Leon already in the base version has a dynamic design, the Cupra version then with even more aggressive front fenders, even stronger than before. 19-inch rims, a little protected from the tires as well, so good stance on the road. Then the design line above the door handles, also again from this dynamic design, and goes over to a second design that is evolving here. And the 5-door version is not so much different to the 3-door version. Meanwhile, they have really integrated the design very well. Rising roof line, rising window line right here that is dissolving. Just the lower part is made from chrome. And also it's interesting how we can work in the industry meanwhile, that we have the design line following also over the fuel cap, for example. So pretty interesting. There we go with the fuel cap. And the 5-door version, of course, a little bit more versatile than the 3-door version. But just the Estate is then the most flexible one. Taillights are drawn horizontally, very wide. With the new Cupra 300 logo, there's no more horsepower split. There's just this 300 version right there available. And we can also show you one look in the trunk from the 5-door version. It's not as big as in the Estate, of course. Here you can put the cover in here. You can have it at the lower level, but you can also take a look at the replacement tire. Inside is the sound system, and then you can put this cover higher that you can have an even loading surface with the seats, and you can flip those, fold them flat here in a ski hatch is possible, or also 2/3, 1/3 split. Cupra interior, those ones are the standard sport seats. Interesting is those ones here, I have the separated head restraints, also with printed Cupra logo, and they're also the optional Super Sport seats. They have the integrated head restraints then, but those ones here offer you a little bit more space. I found them more comfortable. I have tested both. But both, the Sport here and the, let's say, base Sport and the top Sport seats, they both come with Alcantara on the inside and leatherette on the outside. Seat has figured that out very well, how to combine sportiness or luxury with sustainability. Those ones we also have the electric seat setup, because sometimes you can only get some seating setup if you either stay with the manual or with the electric. Those ones here are possible in both ways, actually. And this new updated interior still features this repetition of the design of the side profile right here in the interior. Just now with the new infotainment screen. This one is the top infotainment screen, but you can also go with a lower trim that is a little bit smaller, than no problem. Here the proximity sensor is no more because it obviously doesn't have enough space, and maybe also want to save some costs. This is the basic app view you have then here, and can go to the different vehicle options, for example sports information, also especially for the Cupra, or then again the GPS and so on. Also connect your phone just via Bluetooth, that's still possible. Here the manual gearbox with the Cupra logo, and you know there's also the auto gearbox available, DSG dual clutch transmission. This one here shifts very well, crisp but smooth at the same time. And then as a top version, all-wheel drive plus DSG, so this combination then, and all-wheel drive just with the DSG, not available with manual, and that one, the full driving view, you can check out at Autogefühl as well. And what about the rear? The same setup we find right there, and also interesting that we have this Alcantara leatherette, and then in the middle, in the split between, this racing style look. It's a carbon fiber cloth, you could describe it in the best way. Knee room is very interesting, and I mean, even more interesting is also check out here our Seat Ibiza coverage from the Geneva Motor Show, and there you see how much room the Ibiza, the new one, really has. Also, if compared here with the compact segment car, same counts for the headroom, and now the new Ibiza and the new and the currently on really come very close. That's pretty interesting. Also here, some beveled shoulders you can adapt. Also as a ski hatch you can very well use. Comfortable seating position right here. And now my favorite color, Mediterranean blue, here now with the Estate, with the ST Cupra. And this one is then also the version that can be combined all-wheel drive, automatic gearbox and the Estate. This very combination is reserved then, because probably someone who would go for the very top trim level would maybe go for this exact version then. Also good contrast to the blue with the black front grille. And those LED taillights, they're even sharper in the design right now. So while the after-show party is starting in the background, this one here is still a very beautiful Estate design, even more top up with this Mediterranean blue color. Such a dream Estate to me. I think it's really all you can really ask for. 19-inch rims in black with this Michelin Pilot Cup Sport or Sport Cup 2 tires, but I wouldn't recommend them for wet roads, rather really just for the racetrack. Then here black frames around there, and this new small black accent here, but I think why not? I mean, it's just a little joyful element. And this one here a little bit longer then, so it's a basic difference. The Estate is indeed longer than the 5-door version, therefore you also have so much more luggage room. And here finally the rear with a new black Cupra logo, single letters, very spectacular as well, horizontal tail lights. And you don't lose too much trunk space on, at least. Include the Seat logo right here, 4Drive it says, the all-wheel drive logo, there you can see it as well. A beautiful cover here, then they can optionally fit with a replacement tire. And they're really flexible. Roof rails fixed on both sides there. And you can also flip the seats without killing anyone. So, and here we go with a very nice setup. So this is really the combination of a sportiness with this 2-liter turbo 300 horsepower engine. You can also check that one out. We have ridden that one on the racetrack. And here we go with the different interior. First of all, again, a nice combination of the microfiber and then here this carbon fiber fabric style, I would call it that way again. And then here we have the optional sport seats with those integrated head restraints. They look really sporty. They're also nice and also have enough space. It's just, I mean, personal preference, which one you can better sit on. Personally, I would just go for the standard seats. You can also save some money then. But I also heard colleagues saying, well, those ones are more comfortable. They offer a little bit more side support. Yes, they do. And a little bit slimmer here also in the lower area. So that the question is really, is that more suitable for your body style or not? I like it a little bit more open here for the seat. So, but I mean, it's also fine. So maybe, well, if you can test it at your dealer, I'm not sure if the dealer will have 2 seats available, but we gave you our advice and also visual advice. Maybe you could already have a good decision if that's for you or not. So, what about the rear here? The optional sport seats, they leave a little bit less knee room that you also have to consider. Also, the panoramic roof is great to leave interior fully enlightened. Here you lose a little bit of headroom. For me, it's still okay if you're taller than me, taller than 1.86 m or 6'1", taller than that. Then you should probably leave out the panoramic roof if you want to drive more often in the rear. Then we finish off here with a Cupra with a TSI 2-liter turbo with 300 horsepower now, all-wheel drive and DSG in this combination. Again, the performance can be all checked out in our extensive driving review with countryside fast, autobahn a little bit, you know, just straight, and also the racetrack, and also comparing front-wheel drive manual with all-wheel drive with the DSG and in the Estate. A lot of different insight there, so check out our full driving review and hope you like this another color inside here, colors and trims for the Seat Leon Cupra. Which one is your favorite? Tell me in the comments. The all-new generation of the Seat Ibiza, the small car segment here, and on the Geneva Motor Show we'll take a detailed look at the exterior interior, and this is a special episode also with all of the different colors. Well, not all of the colors, but a lot of different colors and trim levels. FR Excellence, a base trim level, so really interesting to see them, and also with my very favorite color. I'll check that on out soon, but this one here, Desire Red, is also the launch color. Also very strong and dynamic appearance. We'll take a detailed look at exterior, interior and all the different versions, and we also will have a special interview with the head of research and development talking about the very platform of this car, because it's so-called MQB A0, and that means 30% stiffer, more similarities with compact cars, although the car has not grown. Let's go. So the length is now 4.06 m, and usually cars grow and grow and grow and grow. This one not, even just a little bit shorter. But we will still have more space on the interior. We will soon check that one out if that's really true. 18-inch rims are the biggest one you can get, but 17-inch also look pretty good. You will soon see that at other vehicles we do have. A very dramatic design line just above the door handles. You probably have seen also at Holger's review from the world premiere. But today, even more versions of the Seat Ibiza and even more different interviews, everything you need to know. And also with my size today, because here we can test if also tall drivers can really fit in this new Ibiza. And then if we continue to the rear, so far there's only the 5-door version. 3-door version will also not be happening in this generation. Just a small window right there, and the design line, the second one is beginning right there. You see here, this is the transition between the one design and the second one. And so you get a very dynamic design already with this 5-door version. Looking at the rear, we also have a very dynamic setup here with those new LED tail lights. In the front you can get LED optional as well. You've also seen them. The trunk will be flipped right here. We will soon show you also more about the interior. This one here, the FR trim level, is at the sporty version, but we also have other then later for you. Here this is just a fake exhaust. Well, the real one is right there, just below there. I mean, you can always argue about if it's the right choice. I think from a design standpoint, I'm not even sure it's necessary, but I think for a fake exhaust, they have figured out the design pretty well. So the sporty FR trim level also on the inside, and there are different seats available. Those ones here are the ones with Alcantara on the inside and leatherette on the outside. Good sustainable solution without harming animals. And then you also have the contrast stitches here in red. This is the racing style then. And you see they also have a little bit more side support here for going on the racetrack, for example. Well, that probably won't happen that easily. Here we do have the panoramic roof, and you see that does reduce the headroom. Still okay with 186 or 6'1", but it will be better if we leave that out for the headroom. I mean, if you're a little bit smaller, then it's totally fine. Then you have this option here with the, why not, manual shade. Pretty easy and a function that cannot really break. The FR trim also features a special FR steering wheel with perforated sides. Red contrast stitches on the inside. This new 8-inch screen is the top one you can get. It starts with lower screens, of course. 6-speed manual. There will also be different engines available. Turbos without the MPI, without the turbo from a petrol engine. One diesel, and then also a CNG engine. If there will be a Cupra, let's see, we can ask in an interview. And a new, very slim mirror. It looks pretty fancy, but then again it's very slim, so vision wise it would be a little bit better if it maybe just a little taller here. Here, for example, the glove box, smooth sliding down, and well, handbook and stuff you can put there, and also a net, for example, for a co-driver phone, for example, you could put there when you charge it with the cable there. And here in our white car, also FR trim level, you have a different seat option, so you can pick that. It's not Alcantara in the middle, it's also a fabric. It's again different. They have really different fabrics, so you can really pick which one you like best. It's a little bit, I would say, more even surface. There's also one other available, which is a little bit rougher from the surface. You can also check that out. But that's the good thing today. We are showing you so much different seats inside and colors outside today. You can really tell me then what would be your favorite option. So Michel and me, Michel, our cameraman, have a big discussion at the moment because he actually prefers the red car we had initially. And this is totally my Thomas blue car. It's Mediterranean blue, and wow. I mean, I'm not actually personally interested in the small car segment like for myself. But this one here is such a beauty. I mean, dynamic design, and I got the microphone here. Blue, 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 blue. So I really would stay with the blue. I mean, so beautiful. Nice nuances in the color shade there. And this one here also equipped with 17-inch rims. So not the biggest 18, but surely enough. And I think this one here now, to me, I think probably the most beautiful small car there is. Let's get inside. Here we go. And wow. I'm sorry, I'm just flabbergasted today here. And you know, it's a great seat surface here. It's not a very special seat with Alcantara, no racing seats. This is not the FR, not the excellence trim level. But you still already have very interesting seat surface. It's a mesh structure, and it's also a little bit rough. but that can give you good climate conditions that don't have a very flat surface. Here more air can actually circulate, and the seats look pretty much sporty already. So it's a very comfortable seating position, and I could also very well imagine some longer trips here as well. Here you can see that the surface here is also very interesting, by the way, because it has some microstructure in it, very interesting to feel, and I think it adds a lot of accent if you compare it to these shiny, glossy black surfaces we also have available. And this one also does not collect any fingerprints, so I would probably prefer that one here. A normal steering wheel, but compact in the size. You can also adjust it here in all 4 directions again, and pretty good mechanism. You can always see some, when I'm having the microphone here, some wheels you can adjust, but not with one hand. No one does it, but it's a good sign if the mechanism is working smoothly. So sometimes you have to really rip the steering wheel apart almost. Here a 5-speed manual gearbox as well, and I can already feel here that the shifting process is pretty smooth. So again, looking forward to drive this vehicle then very soon. Hey, a handbrake that I can still do, my drifting stuff and what I'm always doing with Seat Ibiza on the road and stuff. And that's probably the reason they still left the manual handbrake in there. In this one here, the color is called Magenta Mystique, and is surely a color that is dividing opinions. I think this one is really something love or hate for sure. But what is even more interesting about this car, also compare the different front from the FR trim level. This one here is the Excellence trim level, which one will especially be interesting also in the interior. Excellent trim level is not as sporty in the lower part, but has a little bit more elegance. This is the direction, also does not have an FR logo. It has a special front grille here. See those horizontal fins which have the shiny surface on the top. And here we go with the interior, and a very interesting thing is, for example here, material quality. The top part is hard plastic, then we have the shiny black surface, and then we have leatherette hues with a good style, premium quality. Also here 4 automatic door handles. And then on the inside, those shiny black surfaces, I don't like them that much because they collect a lot of fingerprints, especially in the motor show. It won't be as bad as your car at home. But the special thing about the Excellence trim level, not only X on the steering wheel, is that here you've got Alcantara seats, so in the middle, microfiber, and outside leatherettes. And this is the way to go. This is the way you make premium seats, which look good and also feel good, but still don't harm the environment. And well, for a small car, those seats are really wide, and this is really the thing I think has to do with the new platform the car is on. Because so far, remember again, the car is not longer than before. It's even just slightly shorter. But when you sit down here now and feel the car and how spacious it is, it's not really feeling like the old Ibiza, which was clearly a small car. So if I would close my eyes and open it and someone say, hey, that's the new Leon facelift, I go, oh, really, a Leon facelift? So to me it is actually a small Leon. And so the Ibiza, I was not that comfortable in it yet because of my height, 1.86 m or 6'1". You have a lot of headroom left. And really surprised by this very spacious feeling. And the Excellence trim, again, more trimmed to the let's say elegant part. But I think I do like the FR style a little bit more. But those Alcantara seats are really good, very comfortable. A lot of seat surface there is, and I think this really sets some new standards for the small car segment for sure. That also you can feel better in it, especially as tall drivers too. And here we go with the new infotainment system. This one is the one you optionally have. The smaller one will be a little bit small and also a little different from a setup. Here you have 2 knobs left for the volume, and then, for example, for scrolling in the menu or also zooming in the infotainment system. But you all can do that like this. It's an interesting surface. The surface is very smartphone-alike with this glass. Feels very interesting, but microfiber tissue might be definitely a good idea to have some of those here. You can put your cat also in an image right there. Apple CarPlay is possible, but you can also connect your phone via Bluetooth like this. I would usually just go for the Bluetooth version, then vehicle like consumption setup that is possible, and also the GPS. So all hotkeys are available. Here at the moment it's not activated because it's a show car. Overall, a nice integration, looks really premium-like. Even though it's the highest trim, you don't have to pay so much money then. And a heart-beating start engine stop button. We also have seen that in the Ateca, originally inspired by Jaguar cars, and brings some more emotional element in here. And the instruments, analog but very clear, they always remind me of Audi instruments, don't they? USB ports, 1, 2, and aux in, and this is also the symbol here, option you can get this inductive charging method if your smartphone or your smartphone case is suitable for that. And now getting in the rear compartments, here we go. This is always very interesting because so far I could not really sit in the rear of the Ibiza. You can check the Ibiza facelift full driving review, how it was there, and it's definitely different results. So you have gained a lot of knee room here. Wow, what a package for a small car. That is great. And also headroom wise, especially if you don't leave out the panoramic roof. Again, I'm 1.86 or 6'1", and this is this is a huge step forward, especially in the small car segment. That is so important because so far, for example, I could better sit in a Seat Mii than, because there were upright seats and stuff, than in the Seat Ibiza. But this one here offers more comfort, and I'm really looking forward also to drive this car if the long-term comfort will also be confirmed while riding it. But so far here, I mean, good offering of space. Then there's also ISOFIX anchor points at the lower parts of the seats. You can also flip the seats here from the rear, like this. It's for example, here on this top tether also available. And then I would say, let's check out the boot. Fancy taillights right here, LED technology. And then we can open the hatch. And here we go with the new trunk. And you see even more space is being used. You can, however, put that one here also above it. So this would be the optional replacement tire. And you can also put the boot cover like this, that you have an even surface. To flip the seats, well, you can reach over here like this. It's not the most handy solution, but it is theoretically possible. But better to do it from the rear, unless you have the cover here demounted. But I think really the biggest strength of this car is the package, the space that is being offered in the relation to the length outside. 18-inch rims, here also a FR version in another color. This one here, a gray one, which would be less screaming out as a color. And indeed, I mean, we always prefer to present you very bright and spectacular colors, but most of the times more conservative colors are being bought. I would like to hear your opinion on that one. Which color would you actually go for? And I really love to show you different color versions here right today. By the way, also black contrasting mirror caps here for this very vehicle, and also with those black rims. This is the rather dark look, so it comes close to a Cupra look, and we will ask also Matthias Rabe, head of research and development, very soon if there might be a Cupra version for this generation. FR in white, and I like white cars when they are clean. That's the problem. You have to go to the car wash pretty often. The only thing that doesn't come into such a big effect is here the front hood. The accentuations you see here, I think in the other darker colors they play a little bit bigger role. And with Matthias Rabe, head of research and development at SEAT, we want to dig deeper into the subject, especially about the platform of the all-new SEAT Ibiza. So, as I heard it for the first time, I'm thinking, a platform that is usually meant for a compact car, for a small car segment vehicle, how does it comply?
Yeah, first of all, we are very happy to show here in Geneva the new Ibiza, which is, for our point of view, really a fantastic new car. And the new platform, which is really designed for that class of compact car, allows us a lot of new things. And I would like to describe something. First of all, for us it was important not to let the car grow. Yeah, from the outside dimension, from the length, it didn't grow, but the car looks much more dynamic and sporty. And that's due to the extended wheelbase. By 90 mils, the wheelbase is extended, and also the wheel diameter is extended, which gives a much better package. That means more inside space, more trunk space, and also the designer love it because they can make a much better design because you have shorter overhang, you have the big wheels, and that's basically the new platform. But the platform allows more. With the platform, we have the access to new, more advanced driver assistance system, and with the platform together with the HUD, with all the with the body, we improved the body stiffness by 30%, which gives a perfect drivability, perfect noise, vibration, harsh, and really fun to drive.
So is it the small Leon now?
No, Ibiza is not a small Leon. Ibiza is Ibiza. Ibiza is 32 years old. It's the 5th generation now. It's the longest history we have. And it's the best Ibiza ever. And for sure, the car goes a little bit in the direction of Leon. Huh?
So what are your favorite features with the new Ibiza? Maybe also some with, let's say, a little bit more research and development background.
Yeah, I already described something from the technical side, like the inside space, like the stiffness, like the drivability, which is really outstanding. We have to test the car. But as you can see, we have some more things. We bring the LED lights, the full LED headlight, for example, in that class. We have LED rear light. We bring a lot of premium features in that segment to the Ibiza. For example, we have full connectivity. We have the 8-inch black screen, and yes, that's basically that's some of the most important thing. And the car is pure SEAT. For me, it's very important. For us, it's very important SEAT. Even if you cover the logo, the car has to be recognized as a SEAT. And there we did a lot in the past really to describe our SEAT design DNA. And this car is reflecting it. It's young, it's fresh, and it's a typical SEAT.
So far, we had the 3-door version, we had the 5-door version, we had the Estate, we had the Cupra version. Of course, the small car segment is always problematic with the margins. You know, you have to still earn money. So what are your plans now for the Ibiza? Now we see the 5-door version. What else can we expect? And what can we maybe not expect?
Now, first of all, we concentrate on the 5-door version. That means there will be no 3-door version. Why? Because with that design, with that really stretched and sporty design, we combine in principle the sportiness of the 3-door coupe with the functionality of the 5-door. And that's what the customer wants. We assess that, and I think we are on a right way with that. And that will be our interpretation of the Ibiza. What you can see on that new platform, we will see more cars. That means in the summer of this year, we will launch the Arona, but it's a totally different car. It's an SUV, it's a crossover. Very nice. I think it's an extremely attractive car. You will see it, and it will come some more in that direction. In principle, all the other thing is open. We will see.
Yeah, because a lot of customers are saying, will you give a Cupra, all the fanboys especially, you know, but you cannot give us any hint or so?
First of all, I'm a biggest fan of Cupra, and we did a lot for Cupra, and but the heart of Cupra is the Leon. And with today's Leon, you know, we improved the Cupra. We go now to 300 horsepower. But more important than the performance is the torque. With the torque, we go from 350 to 380 Newton meters. That's something you really feel on a very wide RPM region from 1,800 to 5,500, 380 Newton meters. Fantastic. In the Leon, we combine the first time also the Cupra with the 4-wheel drive, with the ST. Yeah. I personally like a lot the agility of the 2-wheel drive, yeah, especially if you go on a racetrack, it's faster there. But for the normal drivability, especially in the mountain area like here or in the winter, it's fantastic with the 4-drive. And that means Cupra is Leon, but be sure you will see much more of Cupra in the future. Just wait a while and you will see fantastic cars, more than Leon.
Yeah, we've already experienced the Seat Leon Cupra in the new horsepower trim, 300 horsepower, and also the all-wheel drive. Check out that review as well. And thank you here so much for having us here for the Inside.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you. And now to our conclusions, Seat Ibiza in the all-new generation and some more colors and trims. And I have to say, I'm really surprised. I've always seen, of course, the world premiere coverage from Holger. Here now taking a look myself and also experiences how much room there is actually inside also for tall drivers. I'm really amazed, and this is a huge step forward for the brand, especially, you know, attracting more customers who might say, I might go for a smaller car because this one is actually enough, features enough room inside, don't have to pay so much money, and also it's more versatile for the city because it's really not a long car, not at all. Also good materials being used, well, that one plastic side on the inside of the door, on the top part, that could maybe be improved. Everything else was really very good. Interesting seat surfaces. SEAT shows that we can have a lot of different interesting seat setup, different materials, also sustainable, and I really like that you have the choice to pick. And wow, that, I mean, the red one is really a very strong color for sure, this Desire Red, but the Mediterranean blue, wow, this is really one of my favorite colors, and especially in combination with those bright seats, I think I would just pick the car exactly as it is there right now. And now it's time for your comments. What do you think about the all-new SEAT Ibiza? Thank you. The Mercedes E-Class E63 as the estate or T-Model we call it in Germany, the top sports version of this estate or T-Model variant. We will tell you everything you need about technology, exterior and interior wise, and already start here in the front. Big difference here with the E63 version is that the hood is not connected to the headlamps here, or headlamps. The hood is cut inside, and that, you see, it's totally surrounded by everything else around it. That creates a sportier look. The AMG front is here with a two horizontal fin grille. I prefer more the diamond pin grille, which you see in the E43. Or what do you think? And very strong air intakes here in the diamond white color, crystal clear, and with a black contrast in the lower part. This one is also the 63S, so even more horsepower. And the headlamps, they come with LED, but then also the multi-beam, which you can see here, also for the high beam, is optionally available. And we'll start here also with the engine, because this one here is the hand-built AMG motor. You can also see it, who actually built it together. A V8 bi-turbo engine in the 63. It's 571 horsepower or 612 if you pick this one here, the E63S. Of course, abundance of power to get it all on the road, and even more, of course, than in the E43 version, but you also have more weight. You have to bear that in mind. It also comes with a new speed shift dual clutch transmission, and also variable torque distribution from front to rear axle to adapt on each driving situation. And that is all combined in the 4MATIC Plus, so all-wheel drive here also for the top sports version to get the power on the ground. 4.92 meters or 16'1" is the total length of this vehicle, so also 10 centimeters longer than the coupe or convertible version. So huge 20-inch rims, for example, also to leave space for a big carbon ceramic brake caliper you can see here. In the front it would be even bigger. Then in general, of course, the estate version here got a design line at the door handles, and then it's of course characterized by more space in the rear. Has a, you see, coupe-like ending in the very rear. Here also equipped with a night package that has the dark chrome, the dark frames here around the windows. Also black contrasting mirror caps, so for a dark look. Here AMG logo, or E63S. Horizontal taillights with a small Mercedes logo right here. I like those details. Here, right there. There it is. Very nice. And then a huge diffuser in the rear end for that V8 engine. And yeah, it does have a pretty spectacular sound. You can check that one out in our sedan review of the E63 already. The driving won't be so much different. And always nice to see those crystal taillights, you see with this crystal structure inside. If we open the hatch, electric one, here we go. And well, this can actually be a performance family car here, by the way, with a nice floor mat. You can put out and then, for example, just wipe it with whatever. And you can also electrically fold the seats. Here we go. It's a 2/3, 1/3 split, so a pretty handy solution. A lot of room here for an estate that is probably the most versatile sports car there is. So let's get inside here. Usual E-Class central layout here, then with carbon fiber accents. How to control the seats is always very sculptural. Also the optional sound system, ambient light according to it. So just spectacular always this E-Class interior. However, the E63 has one flaw. An E43, for example, is available with Alcantara, or it's called Dinamica at Mercedes, other brand, on the inside, and then leatherette on the outside. The E63 then is not with leatherette on the outside, but always with real leather. Or here there's real leather on the inside, or here's some microfiber. So the E63 is the only car that is not available with an animal-friendly interior. So I would always go for the E43. Here the steering wheel, that is interesting here with the Alcantara, but then why didn't they put Alcantara all around the steering wheel? That would have been even better. But in general, I like those Alcantara steering wheels. They offer you good grip, are very sporty, and they can also improve the comfort in everyday driving, for example. So I slide back the seats. You can also just lengthen the lower area of the seats, for example, so good adjustment. And you do have really great comfort always in the E-Class. But of course, it would be even better if we would have better seat service options for the E63. In general, Mercedes is offering good options there, but certainly not for the 63 version. So, very comfortable for sure from the seat form. I'll also put it right down that you can see the maximum headroom. Here a little bit limited by the panoramic roof. I'm 1.86 m or 6'1". If you want more headroom, then leave out the panoramic roof, especially for the guys there behind. Here you can also see the carbon fiber style that is reserved for the 63 models, and I think it's better than having the shiny black glossy surface. Looks more modern and also doesn't collect so much fingerprints, but my favorite would be the one we recently had in the E400 Coupe in the full driving review with the matte open cell wood. It feels so natural, doesn't look old or old-fashioned at all, but still gives them, a natural modern touch to interiors. And the difference is you can actually grow trees and cut them in a sustainable way, but you cannot cut animals in a sustainable way. So here also infotainment-wise, here again the optional system. You can also basically get analog gauges. On the left side you control it with your left thumb, and on the right side, no key inside. On the right side, there's another 12.3 inch. It would be that smaller when you go for the basis infotainment screen. That also is not changed here in the AMG version. And the air vents, you can already see one here. Those are a little bit different than the ones on the inside. Those ones are a little bit bigger, but always again a very strong setup here from the look. Controlling infotainment system, as I said, with thumbs here, or also here it clicks quite nice. Also with turning and pressing. There's no touchscreen available. There will also be different driving modes, also suspension-wise available. The suspension is still an air suspension, but it is an AMG optimized air suspension. So when I have that one, it's stiffer. We have been driving the E43 and the 63 as a sedan, and we were amazed that it was still an air suspension, but had so much contact to the road. The question is, of course, does it make sense to make a sporty air suspension? Because air suspension you usually do when you want a very soft, a very superbly comfortable ride, but then you make it stiffer again to make it sportier? Does that make sense? I'm not exactly sure. But from what we have experienced, the ride was very good and sporty at the same time. So it does work, especially as you can adjust it, the stiffness in the different driving modes that are available right here. And then we can also get in the rear. And yeah, Michel is going for all the not really one take, but almost one take today. So kudos, by the way, also to Michel. He's doing a great job here today, keeping us fit here in Geneva. So, and here we go with the rear. And you do have a lot of room also in the rear for the estate. We tested that earlier when you had the normal estate review. So also knee room, and then headroom is okay here, but again, if you want more, then leave out the panoramic roof. That would be one solution. But a good comfort here also in the rear. That is, one of the very few super sports family cars. But I mean, we had different aspects, exterior, interior, driving-wise, weight-wise, that I would usually tend to, look at the 63, maybe listen to an Autogefühl review, listen to the sound, but then probably realistically buy the 43, because it's not always about getting the top version, but even something in between maybe. This is the new Mercedes E-Class convertible, and here the first time it's been displayed at Geneva Motor Show 2017. And we have already full reviews on Autogefühl here with Thomas, with a lot of different E-Class versions, sedan, estate, or T-model in Germany, also the Coupé. It's coming very soon, and if you're watching this episode later, it's already online then for sure. And the convertible we will drive in summer, but here the first static presentation. As the Coupé, the convertible will also come in Avantgarde or in an AMG line trim level. And special here thing is this diamond pin grille. My favorite Mercedes grille. It looks very three-dimensional, very attractive. The AMG line has this shiny surface in the diamond pin grille, and the Avantgarde line also has the same structure, but has a black finish on the top part. So the AMG line in this case looks better, but Mercedes has this rule that the sedan version you can pretty pick to combine exterior and interior trim. Here with Coupé and convertible you are bound. If you pick the AMG outside, you have to go for the inside, other way around, and also with the Avantgarde trim level. 17-inch it will start, 19 then with AMG, and this one here 20-inch, the optional ones. At least they're a little bit protected by the tire lip, that's good. And if we take a better look at the side profile, a pretty simplistic and clean design. 4.82 m or 15'8" is the total length, and that means it is about 10 centimeters, 12 centimeters longer than the predecessor version, but the same length shorter, so 10 centimeters shorter than the sedan. So the Coupé and the convertible a little bit shorter than the sedan or the estate model of the E-Class. And what is really remarkable that they're really enough to have very few design lines here. See it right here, just very central design line here, dividing in light and shadow, forming those strong shoulders there. And there's not so much playing around with the design, and I think that's very good to have a clean but yet sensual design. Here at the moment, as the roof is being opened, it will take 20 seconds, the roof process, and it will also be available in different colors, red, black, blue, and also in brown. This one here, we can already take a look at the interior. At the moment, the full animal skin spec. But the good thing about the E-Class Coupé and convertible, also the other E-Class, is you can get those ones here, for example, with fabric on the inside and leatherette on the outside in the Avantgarde trim, and in Dinamica microfiber on the inside and leatherette on the outside in the AMG trim. So and this is, the trim levels you can pick, and a lot of good choices Mercedes is offering there. But sadly, here on the motor show cars, they always think they have to go for the most expensive option. But at least Autogefühl is here to tell you also the other options you do have. In general, a very sensual layout again on the interior. Mercedes is not about boring interiors, not about the, let's say, cleanest one, the ones that are the easiest to understand, but the interiors that try to evoke the most emotions. And I think especially if you look at those central vents, they use special vents for the Coupé and the convertible, in a little bit different than in the normal E-Class versions. But the general interior layout is of course similar as in other E-Class versions, with this central purity design overlapping right here and going in those curved ways. Very beautifully and spectacularly done. Here the vents, they also can be closed like this or opened like this and are held like in a, you know, like in a flying bubble or so. It's really interesting how they've managed that. So, and also high-class interior build quality, also from the buttons. The convertible then receives this extra button here to open and close the roof. And also unique feature for the convertible is that you have the different systems to keep you warm inside. And that is, first of all, is it the air scarf, the neck heater that is always coming wind out of here. It's an optional feature you can get. And well, the use is pretty limited because when it's very cold, you're wearing a big jacket anyway. And when it's very hot, you do not need it. And so with a jacket, your neck is covered. So it's really something for a transition, like in spring or in autumn. And then the second technology is the so-called air cap. We already had that in the Mercedes C-Class convertible, and it's coming out in the front here. So it's flipping up like a wing in the front, and then the airstream is directed over the car, that it flows over the passengers. Also, this small wind deflector rises just a little bit, and then is, you know, reducing the wind turbulence here for the rear passengers. You also see that here there's no opening for a standard wind deflector, and we did test it in the C-Class convertible earlier. You can also check the full review of the Mercedes C-Class convertible on Autogefühl. It's a really great review, I can promise you, will be worthwhile watching. And there we also asked, well, is there another option? Because I felt that a classic wind deflector going like this, you know, has more effect than this. Well, this air cap system is handy if you want to switch passengers. Then again, the Porsche 911 had a good solution to flip out the wind cut from here. But that's then again hardly possible if you have head restraints on the rear. But I still think if you want two persons and have the best protection against wind, get the classic wind deflector. At the C-Class convertible, it was available. Then there would be two holes right here. And then you can also fit a classic wind deflector. So I guess it will also be available for an E-Class convertible. You just have to ask your dealer. I would prefer the classic deflector in comparison to, or Windshot we call in Germany, in comparison to the other normal system. Well, not normal, to the other optional system. The air scarf and the air cap is, by the way, available in a package. It's a comfort package, I think 3,000 euros or something, so they're combined. Here you can set the seat at the inside of the doors. We also have the ambient lighting. In the E-Class Coupe review, we also talk about the ambient lighting, show you that one at night, switch around the colors. Here it's this very, you know, not that good that light here for the motor show, so we cannot see it that well, but we can see the rest of the interior, and it's a very comfortable seating position. And now we have organized the key for this car. There it goes, there is the key. Here's the very slim and beautiful key that the new E-Class generation is receiving here in the E400 Diamond White. And if we turn on the ignition, then we can also open and close the roof. By the way, also all four windows can be put up or down with this button here. But let's first close the roof. So, and here we go. Of course, it's a very huge roof. And they've also worked on the insulation on the roof. And also the new outer line will be more coupe-alike than the predecessor version. And I want to hear your opinion. You think it's very beautiful and also interesting here, headroom-wise. I'm wondering if it's 86 or 6+1. Wow, and there's a lot of headroom left. And it will also be, of course, interesting. Can I actually still fit in the rear seats while the roof is down? You see here it's a good function that the seat is sliding forward automatically. Very interesting. And then I can get inside. And we were already surprised with the coupe that it's really one for 4 persons. And here, headroom-wise, well, it's a little bit less than with... Oh, no, now I'm getting squished a little bit. There it goes. So it does actually work to fit an adult in here. I'm touching the seating with my hands now, so a little bit less room than in the coupe. But still, this one is a convertible you can actually ride with 4 adults. The car comes standard with those analog instruments, but those ones we see here, those ones are the digital ones. And you can also flip them around, for example. Here, this left button at the steering wheel, there you can control stuff and also change, for example, the graphics or what do you want to have. or GPS info. But those ones always optional digital instruments. And also the left screen, it starts with a smaller screen, so analog instruments plus a smaller screen would be the entry. And then optionally you can get those two 12.3-inch screen. And this one is of course really massive. And you see also collecting a lot of photographs, for example. Yeah, it's okay. Then we go to the main screen, for example. Using the good visualizations, this is the main screen. You can control it with the central turning knob, but also with the, there it is, turning and pressing knob. I can also go to the GPS, for example. Here we go, we're in Geneva. So it's a pretty interesting screen. There's also satellite view available, but you can also control it here with your right thumb. That you can go here to the steering wheel and then, for example, zoom in and out. So you can control both screens from the steering wheel. And also here, good build quality with those aluminum knobs. Just here, you know, we have a shiny black surface that looks not that well when it's getting dusty. We had in the E400 Coupe, we had a matte wood style. That was more pleasing and also more handy because it doesn't collect so much fingerprints. Here you would connect your phone via USB port. If you just want to charge your phone but not connect it, for example with the optional Apple CarPlay, then you could just go right here, because in the middle armrest there are also two more USB supplies just to charge your phone then. And here you can also see the ambient light. It is also surrounding the two huge optional displays. And now another look when the roof is closed. And well, in the interior, it's special that they got a light on the inside of the roof. Special here with the AMG line is that we got this matte aluminum right here. And in the Avantgarde line it would be in chrome. This one here a little sportier look. But to me the very special thing is that we got a rather flat roofline. You see, we had enough of headroom on the inside, but still design went in the direction that the roof is flatter on the outside and more aligned, so it looks more like the Coupe than if you compare, for example, the predecessor versions. And finally also the rear, all the Mercedes, the current convertibles and coupes have the design schematics of very horizontally drawn taillights, in contrast to the sedans, which are more in the vertical layout. This one here also the E400 4MATIC, 333 horsepower with a 3-liter V6 engine, and therefore we also have those bigger exhaust pipes. Well, the very outer part, those ones are just for decorations. The inner part, then, that is the real stuff. And overall, I think the design of this convertible, I think with the Coupe, I like the E-Coupe a little bit more than the C-Coupe, just design-wise. The convertible, I think the C-Coupe looks a little bit more elegant because this one is already, of course, a huge car. But what's your opinion, your take on this? And compare it also to the C-Class convertible review. Here we can flip the trunk and it goes up to 380 liters, especially if you move here. You can also remove the seats right there. And here with the button, with the open and closing button, you can also enlarge it when the roof is being closed. Well, it is reasonable space for a convertible, but in this case the Audi A5 is leading it because the A5 is a mid-size segment but still has the same trunk capacity as the convertible from Mercedes that is one segment above. So trunk-wise, definitely Mercedes can learn from Audi, but other way around, Audi can learn from Mercedes in offering, for example, other seat surfaces which are also more sustainable on the interior. So, you know, best is to combine both worlds. And here, some more space below that, not too much. I think you can very well use it also when the roof is down, at least going 2 people maybe for a weekend trip or maybe also a week going to the airport. That will surely work. And you can also flip the seats. Let's see if we do not damage anyone. Yeah, I think that should work if we flip the seats right here. So on the left side we have some help. And also on the right side you can release those seats. And if we then go around, we can also flip them. And if you maybe want to go to IKEA and get some furniture, that could theoretically still work with the convertible. Here you see there's a half split right in there, half, and here we go. Hey, Autogefühl fans. So this one would be the loading through mechanism, or if you want to put a bag on here and maybe want to take care of your seats. And let's take a look under the hood here. This one here, the E400 V6 engine, 333 horsepower. It was updated. It was 3.5 liter before, then a little bit less displacement now, but also bi-turbo charged like the E43. The E43 would be the engine above that, but that won't be available for the convertible. Also for the coupe, we await a E50, something in between an E43 and an E63. Also, when you think of lower spec engines, there will be 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol and diesel engines available, just like in the E-Class sedan. Just this one, especially in the US, will start with the E400, same with the coupe. Especially in the US, they think big, you know. Last information, by the way, headlights will be standard LED, but not the top, the multi-beam LED. That one is still optional for the high beam. And that leads over to our conclusion. A very beautiful convertible for sure, but already a massive one. So if you want a sportier ride, stay with the C-Class convertible. This one here, important if you really want to drive with 4 adults, open or also closed top. That is both possible. Good luxury equipment on inside and also good choice of surface materials in general. Check the offerings in your market each. Great build quality, of course, very high prices we await. So yeah, 50,000-60,000 you can surely account for your convertible at least. I mean, you can always score it with the C convertible if you book high spec, but of course a C convertible will be cheaper. Also check out, as soon as it's online, the E-Class coupe review, the full driving review, because this one will be pretty much similar. And then this one here will drive for you again in summer, so stay tuned on Autogefühl.